What's going on, people? What is going on? It is Monday night, which means this is the Cool Talk Monday with your boy Mad Mike Sports, aka the Great One, the Mad Scientist, and I'm your host, the Debonair 6 Man K Styles. As you already know, we got to start it off with the 3 special words. Monday Mike, what's those 3 special words that we want to get to them?
Real roll call.
And today's roll call is gonna go to Ted Sports and Gaming. We got Joseph Thornton, Boyd Donnelly, Melvin Emery, Bowen Johnson, Red Swarm, Pat Norris, Bubba Gump, YMOF Jamal 05, Jerry Bowie, I'm on it, Jonathan Rozier, Bobby Boy Zone 3, Low Ski, Michael Walker, Old Chicken Holler, D Coleman, Atlanta Nation, ATM 534. What you gonna do? We got Wallace Smith, we got Tony Wright, Yusuke Knight, Ephraim Jones, Gray Murphy, Fred Butts. We got today's topic. You know what? We're gonna stop it here at 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
All right, so I know everybody's seen the topic for the night, man, and boy, we think this is going to be a very good one because I know people couldn't wait for this one. Matt Ryan, Michael Vick. Now, let me set you up on this one right quick. So, the reason why we're talking about this topic tonight is if you had caught the regulators on Sunday, there was a particular guest that hopped on that kind of got in his feelings about such and such Matt Ryan. Now, if you already know how 6 Man K Styles roll, I don't talk about Matt Ryan too often now. And I was listening to a book today. I don't know if anybody probably read this book. I just started on it. Called The 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. And there was, out of the first 3 rules, he had the first 2 got broke just like that.
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, the first 2 rules were the second and the third rule was do not fight the last war, and amidst the turmoil of events, do not lose your presence of mind. Why am I saying this? It's because we have 2022. We have a new quarterback. We have what we call a new chapter in the Falcons franchise. But it always seems like nobody can be willing to move on. Everybody thinks that it has to be this certain way or that certain way. When it says do not fight the last war, it basically means that just because it went this way one year does not mean that success is going to be determined based on that action. Now, how we going to start this out? we're going to give the pros and cons to both of these quarterbacks. And Mike, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start this off. What are your pros and cons on Matt Ryan? What do you feel like? What people like about him, and what they don't like about him, and what are your personal thoughts on it?
Um, for one, this conversation is based on facts. We only deal in facts. So my opinion is based on facts. What I've seen for Matt Ryan as far as his pros is concerned, one, he's everything that you want in the leader. If you're an organization, first and foremost, he's everything that you want as a leader. He's a guy that leads by example. He doesn't go into the media, try to strike up any type of strife. Two, on the field, he's a guy, again, when he needs to be aggressive, he's very aggressive. I know everybody remember the great quote from Monday Night Football, "Get fucking set," right? And he wasn't talking to Muhammad Sanu. He was talking to Julio Jones. So when need be, he's one of those guys that goes after the leaders, and that's what you want a leader to do. It's cool to talk a junk to the guy that's a third stringer, and he's not going. He already, on thin ice as it is. But it's a whole nother thing to go at a leader like a Julio Jones when he's not set. That's a whole nother thing when we have, important downs, and all you hear in the background is "God damn it, Jake!" Like that's the type of stuff that I remember from Matt Ryan as a leader, as a quarterback, and talking about his pros. On top of that, this guy's won almost every award that a quarterback can win outside of a Super Bowl. Like that's literally probably the only thing that he hasn't done at the quarterback position. As far as his cons is concerned, I think everybody can say this. At times, he's a little bit too what's the right word? I want to put the right word. I like
A company man.
a company man. I was going to say that, but he's a bit too much of a company man. He doesn't go out. He doesn't speak on issues. And at time, I remember when Roddy Wright, right after the Super Bowl, he went on Twitter and he was like, "Look, ain't no way in hell I would have just let him call that stupid shit on the field. I would have jumped off sides. I would have done something to disrupt that play." So, Michael Walker, that's a good word. Trusting, he's a little bit too trusting. That's a little bit vague as far as that's concerned. Trusting is a good word, but it's a little bit too vague as far as that situation is concerned. Like he has the right to trust his coaches because they got him to that position to even get to a Super Bowl. So he was right in trusting him, but what he was wrong at, in my opinion, he should have never let that play happen. It was a series of plays that he should have been vocal, and he's like, because we see instances where Drew Brees, as he's upset, he's talking to Sean Payton on the sideline. Like they're going through those situations, and like he's very animated. We need to do this. We need to do that. I've seen Tom Brady literally cussing out coaches and throwing hats and throwing helmets all over the place, doing on the sidelines, and everybody say, "Oh, it's just, oh my God, it's the passion coming from Tom Brady." Well, we don't see that from Matt Ryan, especially when it comes down to his coaching. He's a little bit, he's very frustrated when it comes down to calling out his coaches in situations that need to be, addressed. That situation was a situation where he needed to come out and say, "We're not running this shit. I know that's not the right thing to do. I'm taking it I'm taking charge of here, and this is what we're gonna do. So as far as his cons is concerned, I know it is a little bit long. Matt Ryan could be a lot more assertive as a leader when the time comes and combat his coaches. I think he's sometimes unwilling to combat his coaches because he's such a guy. He's a guy that goes by the book and a lot of things. And sometimes that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you need to look, fuck that damn rule. If we gonna win and we gonna be a champion, look, I'm running this damn ball because I know I can get this first, and then deal with the consequences after. Like, hey, I made the call. The coaches told me to do this. This is why we lost. You can explain it after, but if you feel in your heart of hearts that this is the right thing to do, we need to run this ball. Even if we don't get a first down, we still got a great kicker and Matt Bryant to do this. This is what we're gonna do. So, like, I think that was one of his cons.
Okay, yeah. We try to keep it to one pro and one con. Pretty much. And I noticed something too that you said that you said as far as what his cons were. I noticed that you didn't really talk about anything physical with him. I noticed that.
The quarterback position is all up here. Quarterback position is all up here. Physicality has I won't say it has little to do it, but a quarterback is always up here first.
Right. Yeah, so you pretty much didn't hit on my con as far as how he is. But I got a question for you. I got a question for you on that. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Before we get to that question, let's go ahead and hit a couple of these comments up right quick, man. Like you said, Michael Walker said, trusting. Building 9F here says, I think our team stands as is, maybe one more addition, but that's about it. Definitely shout out to Just J Rock TV, aka the Lord of the Discord. So we definitely appreciate him tuning in. Mr. Lee here says Mariota can take us to the playoffs. So and Ray, Ray, the rookie's gonna report to training camp tomorrow. That means football season is close. But Matt Ryan, if you look at how the situation came with him, as far as that gap between Vick and Ryan, we gotta realize it was only a 1 year damn gap, so it wasn't like it was like we went through years of nothing.
Right.
Matt Ryan doesn't really flash. He's not really a flash type guy. It's more so of a how we kind of call it, kind of like one of those lunch pail type guys, the guys that's kind of in the cut. That's how he is. He's not going. He doesn't flash you with the strongest arm. He's not going to flash you with the athleticism. He's not going to flash you with the personality. But the one thing about him is his toughness. I mean, you have to think about his toughness is as much as he done got hit, how much time he takes a beating. He's always the first one up. So that's definitely a pro in his game, is where, like I said, he's like I said, as much of the scrutiny that he gets from at the time when he was here, the media, the fan base, et cetera, just let that y'all like shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm out here still playing the game. And that's a certain type of leadership that Mike was talking about, because when we look at, and I'm using this as an example, when you look at Tim Duncan in the NBA, when you looked at Tim Duncan's career, he was never really a raw guy. Yeah, he looked like he barely even said. He made the same stupid facial expression every time.
You don't know if the man's happy or sad.
But it's a presence there. And I think that's where he comes into play. Now his con, and like I said, a Matt Ryan con is pretty much what you said. Where I will agree with on him is, it's more like you said. It's the trust in this. It's the trusting thing. It's not voicing his opinion on what he wants. He's trying to work within the system, and he's trusting of the system.
That's a great point.
So is at a point in time where sometimes, and you said it, sometimes you gonna have to bump the system just a little bit. But I noticed something too, and we finna get to part 2 of this.
Oh yeah.
Part 2 of this: the pros and cons of Michael Vick.
Absolutely.
But here's a question I want to ask everybody watching. Have you noticed how easy and how fluid it is to talk about Matt Ryan's cons and inefficiencies? I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Do you notice the same people that bring up Matt Ryan's inefficiencies are the same ones that won't bring up Michael Vick's inefficiencies? Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
I'm just asking the people that's watching. Have you noticed that? While we doing that, I'm gonna wait on some. I'm gonna wait on some answers. We're gonna put on some waiting on answers music for here for a second.
Yeah, I'm already getting some. It's already
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I need some answers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some answers. I don't see a lot of answers. I see. I'm just asking people. This is the hypocrisy that we talk about when it comes to certain talking points, when it comes to certain people. Because you can talk bad about this one guy. You can say everything that's wrong with this one guy, but you refuse to say what's wrong with this guy. Now, Brian Peoples, I said the question was, have you noticed that the same people who are so quick to point out Matt Ryan's inefficiencies are the same people that run away from talking about Michael Vick's inefficiencies? And this is where we're going to get to.
Oh yeah, uncomfortable conversations, and why we want to have those uncomfortable conversations is a quote that I want to highlight.
All right, what's this quote says? Remember, no one has the right to control your emotions and thoughts and actions unless you let them. Kevin J. Donaldson, 10 Secrets of the New Rich, How to Join the World's New Breed of Millionaires.
It's a millionaire. The reason why I picked this quote is that no one has the right to control your emotions. All right?
No.
And the reason why I put this out is because when we talk about Matt Ryan and Mike Vick, we have a tendency to immediately get emotional. Now we got several, and I'm talking about several screenshots from several people, and we got several situations. I mean, even today where people called us out because of just mentioning the fact that we were going to speak on these guys' names. And this is what we talk about, having the uncomfortable conversations. You can't have uncomfortable conversations if it's uncomfortable to you. That makes sense to you guys? You can't have an uncomfortable conversation if it's not uncomfortable to you. You are in control of your emotions. If me bringing up or just mentioning a person's name gets you immediately riled up, That means you're not up for these uncomfortable conversations. If you're up for these conversations, you can sit down. You can sit down on this show right here and talk about what are Matt Ryan's pros, what are Matt Ryan's cons, what are Mike Vick's pro and cons, without getting emotional and damn near losing your shit because that's the thought of those guys just mentioning those names. You know what I'm saying? These are what the true definition of uncomfortable conversations are. It's not a conversation if you're yelling and screaming, if you get emotional. I want everybody to understand that. It's not a conversation if you're yelling and screaming and can't get over one particular aspect of whomever's game and not just one particular person. So that's like, this is why guys like Rich McKay, Arthur Blank, these guys have made billions of dollars because they can make those tough decisions and not be emotionally attached to certain people. That's where the Falcons are trying to get to the point. And this is why we want to explain, all right, what happened, why this happened with Mike Vick, what happened, and why this happened with Matt Ryan. These are the reasons why we want to have these uncomfortable conversations.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about your pros and cons on the Michael Vick, on Michael Vick himself. I think this is this. You want me to take the point on this one?
Yeah,
okay. So as there's a lot of Falcon fans around here that are, as we call, Michael Vick is kind of being the inspiration to watch the Atlanta Falcons as we remember him being drafted. It was a big gamble at the time and point, because as well as him being one of the most dynamic players to come out of college, especially at that position, it was kind of like okay, let's get this revolutionary player. Now, what did Michael Vick bring here to Atlanta? When a lot of people talk about him, they don't necessarily talk about his quarterbacking ability. But what he did was he brought an energy. Energy this team hadn't had since that Super Bowl run with the Falcons. It was an on-field personality that the Falcons hadn't had since Deion Sanders.
Yeah, prime.
So, this is why Michael Vick is actually deified as a god down here, because of that hope that people saw in him. Strong ass arm. We already know the athletic ability. I'm trying to take that out of the damn equation. Strong ass arm. He had the arm talent. He had the potential. And people saying, yeah, he was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But there's some cons to his game too that nobody wants to talk about. We can, like I said, nobody wants to talk about the inconsistencies in the passing game. But most of his stuff was like little nuances as far as just mental and physical. The inconsistencies in the passing game. It was this idea if the first receiver was not open, he was gonna run the ball. Now it looks exciting. It puts the Falcons on a national media standpoint of ESPN, Fox Sports, Sports Illustrated, and stuff like that. But as much as we talk about Matt Ryan and his inefficiencies to be assertive. Vick's problem was the inefficiency to play quarterback. Which kind of begs the question to me, and I asked Mike this question before, and I know a lot of people are not going to be ready for this question. Was Peerless Price really bad because he was bad? Or was it the offense that he played in?
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Wright here made the great point right here. Michael Vick didn't learn how to play quarterback until he got under Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Or did he want to play quarterback under Andy Reid? There's a difference. So the thing is, and the question that you have to ask people is, are you willing to take the positive and ignore the negatives? Just because it's a guy, just because it's somebody that you like, or somebody that you put on this pedestal up here? Or do you want to handle, or do you want to keep it equal and put responsibilities on both the pros and the cons? And look, there's a lot of people in here talking about Vick didn't look at film. Jew said it right here. Peerless Price didn't fit the Falcons' offensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Very inaccurate at times. So, what's your take on it, Mark? Oh God, look at this shit. Rick was off beat, the Rubber Man video.
Hey man, I think when it comes down to Mike Vick, I've already seen a few comments about, especially about how I feel about Mike Vick. It just goes to show you one thing that we want to highlight when it comes down to both of these quarterbacks. People just see what they want to see. They hear what they want to hear. I've said it plenty of times how I really feel about Mike Vick. It's like you can go throughout the years and everybody knows exactly what I've said about Mike Vick. The first thing that I've always said about Mike Vick, he's the greatest, he's single-handedly one of the greatest things that's ever happened for this franchise. Myself and K Styles are just you guys, to be honest. You're looking at a guy right now in the comments section. He's one of the reasons why he's a part of, the Heavy Hitters, AFN, Unholy Alliance. He's one of the reasons why, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got a show. And that man is Jew Talk Sports. He became a fan of Mike Vick, and it ultimately, came to be an Atlanta Falcons fans. They don't have a team they don't have a professional team in Virginia. And it's been many people like that. So when it comes down to Michael Vick, I've always stated, all right, people just want to hear what the fuck they want to hear, because I'm not going to suck him off like Suki Hunter in a video. All right, that's just not what we do over here. We don't suck.
Oh, you gonna talk about give him that kick, that super head double fist. That's what they want.
We're not gonna give him the honey love. We're not gonna get.
Oh, give him the double fisted love. That's what they talking about.
No, we're not gonna do that. We don't do that type of stuff over here. But I've always stated he's the greatest thing, and it gonna go into my gun. He's the greatest thing, and he's the worst thing that ever happened to this franchise. And that's like I said, that's for both quarterbacks. Honestly, this doesn't pertain to Mike Vick. It's the same thing with Matt Ryan. Because you look at both of these guys. That man said Jasmine Cashier. Boy, good God.
See, it only takes me to say something stupid for everybody to got ride with.
It's only a second. It only take a second. Go straight to the gutter. But
right.
Mike Vick has always been, like I said, he's been one of the most influential. Dude, still, you know, his jersey and his. You can ask Lisa Shepard, very own. She works at the Falcon store and whatnot. She says it all the time. Mike Vick is one of the first items that's off the shelf. So again, he's one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Falcons organization. But the NFL, I think it goes even deeper than just the NFL. When you look at all the quarterbacks today, you're looking at Russ Wilson, you're looking at Kyler Murray, you're looking at guys like it's quite a few. Most of these guys are and shut up, K-Star.
I'm just laughing. Everybody is out here talking shit.
Yeah.
Somebody talking about that head twister splash 3000. I'm like, what the? I started laughing.
What the hell? But
hey, look, everybody, man. We got 88 people in here, man. We're gonna have to get a like check around here, but we gotta be at least 50 likes before we go ahead and continue. So we need to go ahead and hit that like check right quick. Look like Ronald Acuna knocking the shit out that ball right now.
Anybody surprised at what he do?
yeah. So like check. If it comes on, it ain't coming on. So we need about 50 of y'all. 50 of y'all to hit the like button. Continue to subscribe. Continue to watch. Not only Mad Mike Sports. But 6-man K-Styles. We got 47 on the track. We need 3 more. We definitely appreciate you. If we can get those 3 in here.
Okay, say 50 on my side.
Okay, we at 50. Okay. Once again, that's a quick one. We definitely appreciate that, man. We definitely appreciate that, man, because that's going to help the algorithm. We trying to get this thing out here on and popping, not only just for us, but for y'all watching us as well. Now,
but I'm gonna get to I want to get to the cons real quick. Because like I said, as far as his pros is concerned, I think he's the best thing that ever happened to a lot of young quarterbacks, including a guy that is not black. And I'm talking about Josh Allen. Josh Allen would have never been able to be who he is in his NFL if it wasn't for Mike Vick. Right? Let's just keep that real. That dude was not a finished product as a quarterback. He was one of the worst quarterbacks his first couple of years. He can throw wolf for shit. Okay, he was Mike Vick. Let's just keep that real. And in certain situations, like I said, I find it ironic that a lot of people don't say he's Mike Vick. He is Mike Vick. When you look at that man, Josh Allen, he's Mike Vick. All he does is run the damn ball. Okay, every once in a while you see games where he's throwing for 300 and whatnot, but a lot of his stats are becoming like he moves around. He's a lot more accurate, I would say that, than Mike Vick. But when you look at their styles when they play, he's Mike Vick in Philadelphia. He's not the Mike Vick that we know in Atlanta. He's the Mike Vick in Philadelphia. Everything that you see with him is that. So with that being said, Mike paved the way for a lot of younger quarterbacks right now who did not get the respect, because you got to go back to Steve Young. Steve Young didn't get the respect. Archie Manning was another guy. He didn't get any respect as a mobile quarterback. For a long time, John Elway didn't get any respect because he was a mobile quarterback too. He can move around. Not talking about the old John Elway who can barely move. We're talking about the John Elway, young and early in his career. Brett Favre was another guy who can move around. This is the reason why a lot of these people get respect now is because of Mike Vick. Lamar Jackson is another, and I know you want to kind of talk about that later, Lamar Jackson, but we're gonna get on that one. That's gonna be an interesting one about Lamar. But like I said, a lot of these guys owe Mike Vick a lot of credit because of that. And like I said, I'm talking about the new guys. A lot of these new guys don't know who Randall Cunningham is. Okay, they just keep that 100. They don't know who the hell Randall Cunningham is. So it's no disrespect to those guys before, but we're talking about guys like Kyler Murray. They don't sit back and watch film of Archie Manning, or Steve Young, or a Randall Cunningham. The newer guys idolize Mike Vick. But as far as the con is concerned, I think the biggest issue, and I'm gonna just keep it like this because we can nitpick all day as far as his as cons is concerned. We're gonna keep it to one. I think this is the biggest one. And I see this with a lot of players coming out of college, and this can sum it up. This word right here is going to suck. Ego. Ego. You've been so dominant in college. You're so confident in your ability that you lose sight of, I need to be a better teammate. His confidence and his ego, when it comes down to his athletic gifts, a lot of people don't necessarily work out a lot. Some people don't even practice at all. It's just all gifts. So a lot of these guys are so egotistical as far as their gift is concerned. They don't have to work out. Some shit. Look, some people can sit on their ass and throw a ball 50, 60 yards in the air. Literally sit on their ass and throw the ball 60 yards. Mike Vick has that type of ability. So when it came down to him, I personally believe, I don't think he did it trying to be lazy. I just think everything came so easily to him and for him, is that he naturally said, look, I'm Mike Vick. You know what I'm saying? What I got to work out for. And it's the same thing. If you go back and look at Kobe and Shaq relationship, that's the same thing Shaq had. Look, Shaq said, look, bro, I'm Shaq. I'll just get ready as the season go on. I got Kobe next to me. I can cruise for the next and average 20 points. I can cruise and average 30 points. That's what Shaq can do because he's Shaq. So a lot of these guys like Mike Vick, I don't necessarily think Mike Vick is a guy that just gave up and didn't want to play hard. I really believe that he wanted to play hard, but his ego, he believed that he was that damn good, which is a good thing. But it also can be your downfall when you believe that you're so great that nobody else can get. And I know that strikes a nerve in you right there. Go ahead, K-Style.
No, I was good. It actually didn't strike a nerve because it actually led me to a question I was going to ask you. Do you think the idolization of Vick was the reason why he never progressed as a quarterback?
Absolutely. That's absolutely, because I've been one, and that's like I hear praise from certain people and praise, like even when I played, you know what I'm saying? I felt those cheers, like damn, boy, this boy on fire, you know that type of stuff. Like damn, he can't be cut. He's the greatest thing that ever played it. Like I've heard those same cheers before. It does get to you. Anybody who's been in a position of power or just position, and been that guy, whether it's at work, in sports or at home, like even with your family, when people in your family got a deep admiration for a particular person, like you definitely, it's like you definitely feel that. I can get away with certain things. I don't have to do that. Everybody love me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody love me. Ain't a person in this world who don't love me. You feel that, so that's natural. I think that had a lot to do with that.
So it leads to another question. From that question, But Red Swan said Allen Iverson's practice. Well, if you knew the story of Michael Vick, he patterned his game after Allen Iverson. So
Yep.
think about that for a second. Now, God damn it, I just had it too. Hold on. I just had an old man moment right quick. So what you're saying to me is the accountability doesn't go fairly on both ways.
Absolutely. It doesn't.
Because I know you want to particularly talk about what the Michael Vick era did right and what was wrong and the Matt Ryan. Let's go ahead and get into that right quick, man. Let's go ahead and get into that. So, what were some of the good things that happened with the time of Michael Vick? Like I said, you had a rushing attack that was top 5 in this league. The Falcons was known as a running football team at the time. This is where the DVD offense was born. If a lot of people don't know what DVD offense is, that's Dunn, Vick, and Duckett, which is Dunn was the speedster, Vick was the playmaker, and Duckett was the hammer. Now, you like I said, Falcons always. I think at that time the Falcons averaged about 130, 140 yards a game on the ground. But there was a downfall to that as well. They was dead last in the league in passing the football. So this is where the inconsistencies of that team came about. See, the Falcons around that time they weren't known for scoring a lot of points in the air. They had to beat you on the ground. But the thing about it is, if you got up too far ahead to them, they wasn't going to throw you. The offense wasn't going to throw you back into the game. Because as we already know, and this is where we kind of see the correlation of, well, Michael Vick didn't have the receivers. He didn't have the playmakers. He didn't have the team. Problem. If you only complete 52% of the passes, you had the worst wide receiver core in the league. If you can't hit them, what do you have there? So you could run the ball, but you couldn't pass the ball. Just like with the Matt Ryan era. The Matt Ryan era, like if we just going on the first 6 years of Matt Ryan, we're gonna say from 2000. No, we're gonna say from 2008 to 2012. The identity of the Falcons was a play action, run the ball, mix it with the pass. So it was a more balanced attack. The problem was, and the defense wasn't bad either. The problem was once they got away from that identity, once they got away from that balance, and they fell into the trap of the media of trying to turn the Falcons into the greatest show on turf. This is where the inconsistencies came with this era. This is the stuff nobody talks about. This is the stuff nobody wants to talk about. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to this football game, you have to have a sense of balance. You got to run the ball, but you also have to pass the ball. It don't necessarily have to be one dominating the other. This is why you see the Tennessee Titans the way they are now. If Derrick Henry ain't running the ball like he is, that team ain't going nowhere. They 2 starting wide receivers is no longer on the team for this upcoming season. Mr. Lee here said if Vick didn't go to jail, he would have won 2 Super Bowls easy. I don't know because the thing with Vick, and I'm gonna tell you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Carolina Panthers will have something to say about that. He couldn't beat those teams because the thing about those defenses is they were just as fast as he was. That's kind of how it's like with Matt Ryan against the Patriots. This is it like you said, you had those teams that these quarterbacks couldn't beat. Now, while Mike is working with a little technical difficulties, I got a little special guest here for us. This is the baby daddy, aka Erica Badu's baby daddy.
Yes, sir.
You can call on Tyrone.
What's up, everybody? What is up? I'm actually walking my dog, but what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? If you can clear the comments, K Styles, I want them to read my name. I just want them to read that.
Oh Lord, hold on.
You know. Yeah, I just want them to read that.
Yeah, he turning 21 in 3 hours, y'all. So
3 hours, y'all.
He's about to enter the time warp portion of his life where the time is gonna go by real fast.
Look, I told y'all, you know what, y'all? If y'all can get, you know what, I'll do it like this. If y'all go to Fila, y'all subscribe, y'all get Fila to, I think we're at 2.3 now. You get us a 2.35, I will do a drunk stream. I will go on stream and y'all will give me tips and I will take shots because I love y'all. Now, if y'all go on there and BS around, and we ain't gonna do it. But if y'all do it, I'll get on there and I'll take shots with y'all, man. Just because.
Man, hold on, man. So, what you gonna do for the 21, man? What you gonna do?
Hey, I'm going to Vegas, so I know I missed Summer League last week, so I'll actually be in Vegas, and I'll miss the Dream game in Vegas. I'm kind of mad. The Dream play in Vegas my birthday day, and I actually won't be there tomorrow. I'll be there Friday through Sunday. So, yeah, that'll be what I'll be doing this weekend. Follow my Twitter. Y'all see it on Twitter. I'll post everything.
Hey, shout out to Marvin. He said he just hit 44 today.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Hey, man, shoot. Hey,
happy birthday, man.
Hey, look, I was about to say, bro, it's a blessing to live another year, man, because, bro, the way this shit going right now, well, all this stuff going on right here, it's a blessing to just wake up tomorrow.
Bro, it's a blessing to be 21. It really is. I done seen some of my friends get killed. I done seen so much. I done seen people get my age get shot, not even make it to 21. So it's a blessing to make 21, man.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, you had anything to say before the Victorians decide to kick you off the stream for no goddamn reason?
Yeah, I don't know. My internet ain't even like it's still going, so I don't even know what that was about. But like I said, as far as this whole Vick situation, I think what it comes down to is there isn't a fair. When you look at both of these guys in its entirety, I think the biggest thing is that one is idolized, and the other isn't. And it comes down to a situation is why is he idolized and the other isn't? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the conversation that people are trying to avoid. And that's this is what we talk about, having these uncomfortable conversations without getting your damn feelings. You got to be able to talk about this. It's not a conversation if one is yelling and the other one is cool. That's not a conversation. Yeah. You're just yelling and screaming. You got to learn how to actually talk and articulate your point rather than sitting there screaming, I don't believe that shit. Oh, hell no. Look, no, that's all good now. But if you can tell me why and give me actual facts behind why do you think that Mike Vick deserved to be in the Hall of Famer? Why Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer? Why that Mike Vick is better than Matt as a quarterback, right? And we all can agree that Mike Vick was a better runner, but we still have people that can't tell you the reasons why that Mike Vick is a better quarterback than Matt Ryan. These are the things we talk about having these uncomfortable conversations that a lot of people they're not on it, and we got a few people in here that probably shaking their damn head. Oh, here we go again. We talk about Matt Ryan. Oh man, y'all ain't gonna let it go. Look, it's not going anywhere.
It's not going nowhere.
It's not
Because
going nowhere with this fan base, man. It can't go
and it's
nowhere with
not
this
that,
fan
TJ.
base.
It's not that. It's not going anywhere because they are part of our history. You
Yeah.
can't erase history. You
You can't
cannot
erase
erase it as much as you want to ignore Mike Vick, as much as you want to ignore Matt Ryan and move on. We're going to always compare the next quarterback. Any quarterback that ever stepped foot in this organization are going to be compared to Mike Vick and Matt Ryan. They are one, the mobile quarterback, and two, the pocket quarterback. So either quarterback, they're going to be. Look aside, we got the best run of all time at quarterback, and we got perhaps the best throw of all time on. So you're going to always have that quarterback. So is it fair to the next quarterback, the Marcus Mariota, the Desmond Ritter, or whomever the next quarterback is going to be that's going to lead us down for the next 4 to 5, 10 years? So it's not fair to these guys. So why should we, as content creators and as fans, ignore these conversations because you just want to move on?
I
So
think. Oh, go. You go
go
ahead.
go ahead, Go ahead, You
I was
good?
gonna say, for me, because I know a lot of kids my age, and I think the fascination with Vic for kids my age, because a lot of us didn't watch Vic. As much as y'all want to say, "Oh, I'm 21, I'm 22, and I watch Michael Vick," you didn't watch Michael Vick for real. You really didn't. You barely caught Michael Vick's career. Let's be honest. He went to jail when we was 4, and that's just being honest. He went to jail when we was 4. I remember him going to jail. That's all I remember. I remember Michael Vick making 1 or 2 plays, and I remember him going to jail. That's all I remember Michael Vick for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad thing. I still respect Michael Vick. I love Michael Vick. My mom loves Michael Vick. Everybody that lived in Atlanta through that time period, they love Michael
Mm-hmm.
Vick because that's what
Mm-hmm.
he did something for the city. And I don't have no problems with him, but I'm 20. Who was my quarterback for 14 years of my life? Since the age of 6. Since
Matt
the age
Ryan.
of 6. Who came in the door and took over? I have no problems with Vic. But when I talk about who is my quarterback in Atlanta, I'm going to say Matt Ryan. That's just my perspective because that's who I grew up watching. And I'm never going to we are always going to have expectations. We're going to look at Desmond Ritter, and they're going to, the first thing everybody was saying, oh, he can run. He going to be like Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why was that the first thing y'all thought of? Because that's a part of our history. That's our
Mm-hmm.
history. If you see if we would have went and got Bailey, we would have got Zappy. We would have been like, oh well, he plays like Matt Ryan because he's a pocket passer. Or we would have got Carson Strong. Oh well, Carson Strong's a pocket
Mm-hmm.
passer. We can make him look like Matt. So
Mm-hmm.
we have 2 quarterbacks in history where we compare every quarterback that steps through the door. Now we can go further back in Archer and Bartowski, all of them. Or we can go all far back to them. But
Mm-hmm.
that's history. The main 2 we always speak about in the modern era of the Atlanta Falcons is Michael Vick and Matt Ryan. So no matter
Mm-hmm.
how many quarterbacks we have come in this door in the next 20, 30 years, they're going to be like, oh, well, he ain't look like Vic. Oh, he ain't look like Matt Ryan. That's just automatic because that's what it is. Y'all have to get over.
Woo,
We have to get
yeah,
over the
but it's
comparison.
Why?
It's not a comparison at this point. They both were good at what they did. We
Mm-hmm.
try to make it seem like it's a comparison. We don't have to keep comparing greats. I wouldn't say, and people say Vic isn't a great. Well, what did Vic do for the game? I don't care about what he did on the Falcons. Okay, he didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't look at the playbook. Okay, cool. What did Vic do? Like you always talk about Jew. Jew didn't have a football team in Virginia. What did people come and turn to be Falcons fans? It's so many Falcons fans across this nation, across this world. You ask them who is their favorite player on the Falcons. The first person they're gonna say, "Well, when I grew up, Michael Vick was the quarterback."
Exactly.
And it's not the same with Matt Ryan, but what do we get with Matt Ryan? The success. We got the success with Matt. Y'all don't want to give Matt the credit for the success that Michael Vick should have had. That's what y'all don't want to do. Y'all don't want to give him the credit, and that's why y'all keep bringing up Vick's name. Like, oh, well, Vick's the greatest quarterback because he did this, blah, 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 blah. Stop comparing them and give them their flowers. They did great things for this organization. Give them their flowers and just let it go. It's no need to compare no more, bro. They're history. They are history. They are not Falcons anymore. We don't have to worry about them anymore. But when we compare these quarterbacks, you can't compare them to because look at what they did to the game. You can't compare these young guys to that. You can't think Mariota's gonna come in here and be fucking Matt Ryan. You can't think Desmond Ritter's gonna come in here and be like damn Michael Vick his first 2 years. That's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen nowadays. Those were legends. Those were once in a lifetime talents.
Tyrone, that was the video. That was the basis on the video, and everybody feels as though that I was trying to be, super negative towards Marcus Mariota. There's no shot at Mariota. He's never going to be a Matt Ryan.
He's never going to be.
He's here to be. He's going to be one of those. This is what we talk about when it comes down to, and this is why we had to have this conversation in case that we're going to get right after this, get to your point. But the reason why we want to have this conversation is this whole conversation is based on, all right, what happened with Mike Vick? What happened at the start of Matt Ryan's career? This is the basis of it. The basis of it is running the ball and having balance. That's the key to football. That's what people are missing. It became a sense of idolatry when you really look at it. People idolize the flashy plays. People idolize being able to throw the ball 50 times a game and have 500 yards and 5 touchdowns or 5 rushing touchdowns all in one game. That's what people idolize. They don't care about the true art of football. They don't care about
they want the Madden in my eyes. Everybody wants this damn Madden football fantasy league. That's not football, y'all. Football is the most strategic game, and if we talk about having to be smart to play a game, you got to be smart to play football. Ain't no dumb people out there playing football. Ain't no dumb jocks out there. They might act stupid. Calvin Ridley might act stupid, but I promise you that man know his playbook. That man done sit down and done learn his shit. They have these. This is outside of football. Calvin Ridley's outside of football. Michael Vick's problem outside of football. All these other players outside of football. But what do y'all always say? Well, damn, they was a dog on the field because they're smart on the field. Everybody's smarter on the field, bro. This is like chess. I played center. If y'all don't understand what a center does and sitting down and bro, I grabbed the ball and I got 8 people standing in front of me. And I got to call every last one of them out before we snap the ball. I got to call every block before we snap the ball. That's strategy. My bad, I stumbled. That's strategy. That's just what it is. If you don't think that football is strategic and that these guys aren't smart, they're smart. These guys are educated, bro. Like these guys are educated in their field of work. And that's what you have to realize. Even though everybody wants, everybody wants to bring up this Vick didn't read the playbook. Well, shit, Vick was running for his life half the game. But what did we get from that? What does everybody love from him running around the game? Everybody love those highlights. Oh, he did a spin move at the 50-yard line and took it all the way to the end zone. Oh man, look at Vick, man. Man, look at Vick. That's what everybody wants to care about. Y'all didn't care about anything else. Y'all wanted happiness, and that's what Vick gave you. Vick gave you happiness. He gave you a hope. Matt Ryan gave you an even bigger hope, and y'all don't respect him for that. And that's just some people. I wouldn't say everybody in the fan base don't respect Matt, but there's a lot of people that don't.
That's a great number. It's a quote that we all know, but a lot of people just don't put too much focus in. People will always, Maya Angelou, I think everybody know where I'm going with this. People will always remember how they made you feel. right? He will always made you feel. When you looked at Mike Vick, he made you feel like, damn, he was a superhero. When every time you look at Matt Ryan, everybody say, damn, he brings that sense of sadness to us. Why? Because we didn't win the championship. All right. And those are the two things when it comes to this, the positive and the negatives. People can't let go of the fact that Matt Ryan did not bring us home to a Super Bowl. Even though he's done so many great things, we're going to always be attached to that sadness of sitting down, everybody, including myself, damn near in tears, and like, damn, we was almost there. We didn't do it. So you're going to always be attached to that feeling. Mike Vick didn't get us there, but he made us feel good. So when it all come down to it, and I just had oh my God, K Styles.
Make me feel good. Make me feel good.
Y'all know, like I didn't, like I always like somebody just told me to go look at the Michael Vick experience videos, and I think Myles Garrett posted it that one time, and it was like the Six Flags ride, and that was like that's like something that you don't get a lot now. You don't get stars that like, bro, this man was in Rubber Band Man, like dog, you can't you like dog, he made you happy. You was like, oh, is that Michael Vick in that video? Like you don't get that with Matt. Matt wasn't like that. Matt was a clean cut, and everybody wants to let's everybody look at their hand and look at the back side and the front side, and we can talk about Vick and Matt. But we just it's everybody wants to have this problem with Matt, and I don't want to bring that other card into it, but we all know what it is too. It's a lot of other factors into it, and even if it was because we lost the Super Bowl, you don't like him. Shit, he gave you 14 years of great football. You can't be mad at that.
Yeah, because my thing was is the issue comes down to what's your preference? What do you want to see? And like we said about this before, and this is always a talking point that even though we're not saying it, it's a certain contingent of us in the Falcon fan base that don't want to admit to that. Because think about it, and we said before, when you see Michael Vick, you see, and I think it was that secret base video when they was talking about the history of the Atlanta Falcons. It was a quote in there that read something to me, and it made so much sense because when they said they saw, and we saw the tweet last week when I put it on the damn show when he was talking about when Matt Ryan was the quarterback, it was a MAGA rally at the Georgia Dome. When Michael Vick was the quarterback, it was freaking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
these are the things we talk about.
So it don't necessarily come down to the quarterback position because at the end of the day, there is no Lombardis in this franchise. So in actuality, everybody failed. If you want to put it in that perspective, everybody failed. The Falcons are one of the lowest win percentage franchises in this league right now.
Yep. Everybody, like you said, everybody failed. There's not a quarterback in history that's like, you can be like, oh yeah, he's the greatest quarterback of all time because he won a Super Bowl. There's nobody like that. You got to go off of pure stats. That's really what it is. In this organization, if we talk about greatest quarterback of all time, it goes off of stats. It doesn't go off of anything else because you have no other comparisons. We have not won a ring. Vince Lombardi trophy has not touched Atlanta once. Not once, not twice, not three times. It has been sitting in whoever seated up won it. So if you get mad at Matt for not winning the Super Bowl, get mad at Vick for not winning the Super Bowl, get mad at Bartowski for not winning the Super Bowl, Dave Archer, who else was a quarterback? Chris Johnson. Like we can keep going through quarterbacks in this history. They haven't won us one. But y'all love to bring up these two because, like I say, this is modern era football. Our
Mm-hmm.
two modern era football quarterbacks are Michael Vick and Matt Ryan. They both
Right.
failed. You can't change the fact that they both failed. That's just what it is. They both failed you. And now y'all rather pull the other card because, oh, it feels like a MAGA rally when Matt Ryan's playing. Dog, when? When has it ever felt like that? When I
But
went to the games, it was mostly black folks in the crowd. I don't think I saw that many white folks in the crowd when it was supposedly a MAGA rally. And I was at the game last year, and the crowd was mostly black. So where did that come from?
because I think because essentially, hold on, God damn it, I just had another blank because I just had my thought point right there and it just went away. Yeah, see, this is that. This
You
is
had
that when
one.
you
You
get
had
old.
one of mine. I had one last
Hey,
week. You having
yeah,
it?
I had three of them tonight. I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, but what I was gonna say too is that this is where we say this is where the hypocrisy comes in. That is, and this is what we talk about where everybody failed, but this is the hypocrisy of it. We talk about one man's failures, but you refuse to talk about another man's failures.
Mm-hmm.
See, at us as content creators, we have to tell it how it is on both spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
See, but it's the narration from a lot of the people that think that um we're going to stick up for one guy and bash the other guy. That's not the case.
Yeah.
But people are going to deflect their feelings on the other people because they don't want to admit what they play, what their play is. And the play is, since you have no Super Bowls to compare to, that's
That's
always going to be the conversation right there. And no, I'm not doing the Beyonce hand. I'm doing the white side, the black side. That always is going to come up.
yeah.
But here's my question too. This is a question, and I remember the question. Is it because of this conversation that we having with these two quarterbacks? Is this one of the major reasons why a guy like a Mariota or a guy like a
Mhm.
Desmond Ritter is automatically shitted on?
Absolutely. Oh,
Because
absolutely.
because in
A hundred
reality,
percent.
because in reality, we don't know what this season's gonna bring. People, we could say, well, Mariota's not this, Ritter is not this. You don't damn know.
They
You
love
don't.
to say Mariota is going to just be horrible this
You
year.
you don't. I'm just gonna say like you don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
Put on a shirt.
Like I said, you don't know. You might have a franchise quarterback in Ritter and won't even give him a chance. Because that's all I'm hearing is, well, we need to tank for 2023 and get this quarterback here. It's not a guarantee that quarterback is going to be the damn franchise quarterback. And then what happens if he's not the franchise quarterback? You're going to draft a quarterback the following year, and now
Mm-hmm.
Can
you're
I
going to
speak on that real quick? Let me speak
go
on
go
that
ahead, go ahead.
because I despise people that do that. All right, I really despise people that do that. Why is that the Falcons? And this is so crazy to me. Falcons were ranked 32nd in roster strength. So that means we have a worse roster than the worst teams in the league. We are the worst roster in the league, right? We have a Pro Bowl cornerback. You have a Pro Bowl D tackle. You have multiple guys. Rashawn Evans just came in. Casey Hayward just came in. You have guys that are proven vets that are coming in. You have guys on prove-it deals that were actually not that bad. They just didn't get big contracts. Now they're here on a 1 year trying to gain that money. And we got like 5 corners on this roster that could start right now on any other team. Let's think about it like that. You got guys on this roster right now that if they went to another team, they would probably take those starter spots. And we're ranked 32. So we're ranked 32. You just added a better DN than you had. And we were a higher ranked roster with damn spin jitsu than damn Lorenzo Carter.
We got Kung. Well, we're gonna call him Kung Lao. Kung
We
Lao.
got Kung Lao. Like, we got Kung Lao over here doing spin kicks in midair in the middle of a game. But you get an actual pass rusher. And then you go and draft two really dogs. People don't understand D'Angelo Malone. He might not have went first or second round, but that boy is a dog. You went and got in the draft. You went and got you a wide receiver 1. You went and got all these other ginormous wide receivers off the free agent market. You went and traded for another huge wide receiver. This is a better roster than people want to give us. And Brian Edwards has one of the best quotes of the offseason. When you're big and tall, it doesn't matter where you place the ball as long as it's in my grasp. So everybody that wants to talk about accuracy, everybody that wants to talk about all this other stuff about Mariota can throw the ball up 10, bruh. Y'all don't understand. When Matt had tall receivers, when Matt had receivers he could throw to, Matt had one of the best. He had years. Matt has. I'm not even gonna bring up the wide receivers he has in Indy, but the wide receiving course he's had over the years. Let's think about it. The wide receiving course he's had over the years, the good ones, dog. Look at what he's done. And all you did around Mariota was build a Super Bowl, damn NFL Finals roster, and say go play football and go throw the ball to him. With athleticism. These aren't just tall guys that can't jump. Every guy we got can jump. Every guy we got can go get the ball. They ain't scared to get hit. They ain't scared to get touched. They gonna want to block wide. They want to block DNs. They want to block linebackers. They want to lay crackbacks. Every last one of them, because you can go watch their film and see it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't watched film, then just say that. If you haven't watched us we won more games than we did the year before last year with a first year head coach. Dan Quinn had been here 4 years at the point before we fired him, and our first year head coach gave us more wins. So y'all want to deny that the fact I don't even care about the quarterbacks because I trust my coach. I trust Arthur Smith to put us in the right system. A lot of y'all don't trust Arthur Smith. A lot of y'all still don't trust, which is crazy to me. Still don't trust Dean Pease. You still don't trust all the other coaches. You still don't trust the front office. You still got doubts about Arthur Blank. You still don't care about this guy, that guy. So you're going to put yourself, and I always say this, we are the most depressed, whatever you want to say, fan base in football because all we do is bitch and moan. That's all we do. Is bitch and moan. No matter what we do, we bitch and moan. We went and got Drake London, bitch and moan. We went and got a quarterback in the 3rd round, bitch and moan, because it wasn't Malik. Bitch and moan over Drake London because it wasn't Chris Olave. Or it wasn't Jamison Williams. Or it wasn't the other wide receivers that y'all watched at Ohio State and Alabama. Mm-hmm. So y'all, let's not think about the second round. Oh, we need to go and get Pickens. I was a part of that one. But my thing is, okay, we didn't go and get a Georgia player. Bitch and moan about that. We go and get Schaefer and oh my God, what is his name?
John Fitzpatrick.
And Fitzpatrick. We go and get Schaefer and Fitzpatrick. Man, y'all got the wrong guy. Y'all should have got Slayer. Y'all should have got this guy. Y'all should have got that. All we do is bitch and moan as a fan base. That's all I see on Twitter is y'all bitching and moaning about nothing. We haven't even got the preseason yet. We haven't even got the training camp. Training camp starts next week after next? And y'all bitching and moaning about the offseason? Y'all look like spoiled brats. I don't think y'all understand that. You look like a bunch of spoiled brats that ain't won nothing. That's what it looks like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They got the LA mindset with the LA mindset with the Idaho results.
Yeah.
I want to bring light to some things that I want to talk about real quick because we're going to start closing down after a while. But I want to bring up the staff, and the staff is something that I think is very important. that a lot of people are missing. We're gonna go back to 2014 and just look at the Falcons stats in 2014. Right, obviously the president and general manager is Rich McKay, and I'm gonna just read off a couple of names that people are familiar with and should be familiar with. But I think this is very important. Alex Gibbs, the great Alex Gibbs. I think everybody remember Alex Gibbs, and we talk about him. He was the assistant head coach and offensive line coach. You got Greg Knapp, who was also the offensive coordinator. I'm Mike Vick. George Stewart is another guy. Ollie Wilson. On the defensive side of the ball, we had guys like Bill Johnson. If you know anything about football, Bill Johnson is another one of those great guys. You got Emmett Thomas, absolute legend. But this is where it gets interesting. Dennis Allen. That ring a bell to people? Dennis Allen and Joe DeCamillis. All right. Those are guys.
Ding, ding.
All right, I'm gonna go to 2008. We're gonna read off the staff again. All right, Rich McKay. Obviously, we got Thomas Dimitrov, but Les Snead, he's still there. Mike Smith, Emmett Thomas. They put him in as an assistant head coach. Mike Malarkey, Bill Musgrave, Terry Rabisky, Brian Van Gorder, Ray Hamilton is another guy that was very good. Keith Armstrong. There's a clear pattern when it comes down to this team that I want to highlight. Kyle Smith is another guy. He was a general manager. I think he was pro personnel with the Washington, the same Washington team that we're seeing now. He helped build that squad. You got a few other guys. Obviously, you got Arthur Smith. Dave Wagron is another guy that helped build that defense in offensive style and a defense with the Chicago Bears. Charles Runner is another guy that's a very good player, a very good coach. You got T.J. Yates. He's another one of those Kyle Shanahan guys. Gary Kubiak guys come off that branch. You got Dean Pease. Frank Bush is another one of those guys coming to Chicago. Todd Monachino, he's an excellent guy in creating outside linebackers, pass rush. John Hoke is another guy that is very underrated as a DB coach. And Maurice Williams. When we talk about the coaching staff and the moves that they're making, you notice one thing when you look at that staff. It's two things that stick out. Defense and offensive line. Defense and offensive line. Kyle Smith is one of those guys that's synonymous for help building that defensive line that we see in Washington. Okay, and that's the thing that that's what we need to focus on when we talk about building this Atlanta Falcons team. And you look at the patterns and going out and get those guys. Now it's the same pattern. That's what we need to focus on. Look at the small moves, all these little big time free agents. That's all cool, but if you don't have the necessary front office guys and the coaches to make that vision manifest, what's the point?
For real.
If y'all didn't hear that, he said build the motherfucking trenches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. we helped build with Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was an absolute failure before he came. As a matter of fact, when did he go to Oakland? I think he became a defensive coach. I think he became a coach. I think after he got with the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. I think he left the Falcons, went to Oakland. I think he went there for something and then became a coach. But again, these are the guys that we had, and then he left Oakland and went to but he went to the obviously the Saints.
He went to the Saints first.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was there from 2006 to 2010. Then he went to Denver in 2011.
Okay.
Then went to Oakland in
Okay.
2012. Then went back to the Saints.
So that's what we're talking about. We have great. This is what we be talking when we're talking about great coaching. You gotta have great coaching. Don't matter how many players you got. If you don't have the coaching to back that up, what is Arthur? Let me ask you this question, K Styles. When you look at Arthur Smith, what is Arthur Smith synonymous for? Like what he's well known for?
Offensive line.
What was the 2004? I just read it off. Who did they bring in 2004?
Talk about the Falcons.
Mm-hmm, the Falcons. Alex Gibbs. You seeing a pattern here, people.
Alex Gibbs.
You're seeing a pattern. This is what we're talking about by seeing the pattern. Slow down and let's look at it. He's helping building. We're focusing on the trenches now. We're getting everything that we need, but we're so focused on quarterback. What good is quarterback if you can't block for him?
You know why? Because the trenches is not the sexy position.
We're not sexy, man.
Remember, this is the new age social. This is the social media age of football fans. Nobody gives a shit about the trenches. Nobody gives a shit about pass rush. The only thing people care about is how far your quarterback can throw and can he run. Do you have a wide receiver that can run a 4.19? That's all people care about. See, the thing about with the trenches, and I know I'm a trench guy myself. TJ is a trench guy himself. They call them the big uglies for a reason.
Big fat uglies.
But the thing about it is let me use an analogy again. Let me use this analogy again. Because I was just recently watching a documentary on the Sengoku Jidai feudal Japan wars and stuff. When you have a city that's about to be sieged by another army, if that city isn't walled off, hold on, let me do this right. When you see a siege battle, what's the first thing you always see in a siege battle?
Close the gates up or something.
The army that attacks a gated city has to go through the motherfucking walls to get to the city. They gotta scale the walls.
Yep.
That's what the offensive line is for. If you don't have them walls up on the city, your city is vulnerable. If you don't have an offensive line, your quarterback is vulnerable. If you don't have an offensive line, your running backs are vulnerable. And if they don't have the time, your wide receivers can't goddamn get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good story. It was a couple years back. I don't know if y'all remember. If y'all go back and watch Zeke, everybody remembers the year Ohio State won the national championship. They beat Alabama. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember the game Zeke had? I don't know if anybody remembers the game Zeke had that game.
I think it was like, what was it, like 250 yards rushing or something like that?
Stupid. It was stupid. He had like 3 touchdowns or something like that. I remember because he scored like at the end of the game, like 3. Like he just couldn't stop. He was unstoppable. So it was an article in I think it was Sports Illustrated. They was talking about the O-line and why Zeke was so successful. And what they called their O-line was a bunch of slobs. That is what they called their O-line. They called them the slobs. Mm-hmm. Now in Arkansas they call them the Hogs. Mm-hmm. In Georgia, of course, we got our own little nickname. Everybody get their own. Every O-line has their own nickname but it's always evolving something either with food or something being big. It's always a big animal, a bunch of gorillas, bunch of whatever you want to call them. It's always going to be something big. Mm-hmm. And what people don't understand about that, when you think about when you go and watch football, and I always say this because I played all 5 positions on the O-line. My whole career, I played all 5 positions. I'm gonna tell you something about that guard and that tackle. I played center's my main position. I love playing center. I think about that guard. Them are the two meanest niggas on the field. I'm didn't mean to cut out.
Exactly.
Them the two meanest. Them the two meanest people on the field. And then you got the tackles. They the finesse guys. Them tackles the ones that 6'7", but they move like they tight ends. They 6'7", 320, but they got a kick step that'll kick you all the way to Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about that. You got guys that can guard J.J. Watt. You got guards that we've watched Jake Matthews shut down guys number one edge rusher all game. And you want to know why? That's talent. O linemen have talent. What D linemen like O linemen have, and that's finesse. And I always will say that. D linemen aren't finesse guys. They have finesse moves, but they're not finesse guys. When you play O line, it's just a bunch of guys that got finesse. Bunch of guys that it's a brotherhood, right? And I always go back to last year's O line. Them guys ain't have no chemistry. None. You could tell if you go watch them double team somebody, they don't know when to release on the double team because one guy getting beat, but the other guy just releasing to the second level, and that guy and then your running back getting hit in the backfield because you didn't even take the block over right.
Right.
It's no chemistry between those guys. And now with that, we see what we're building. We're building these trenches. You're building we went and drafted a center, we went and drafted tackle and a guard. And we still have one of the best guards. We still have one of the best left tackles. We still have one of the best right guards. You got 3 positions right now up for grabs. And I really don't even think they up for grabs. At this point, I really think they're going to be solved in-house. And it's going to be a fun summer. I'm telling y'all, when y'all start watching training camp, do not start thinking that when you see that first 5 that go out in training camp, that is not your starting 5. I'm going to tell you that now. That is not your starting 5. Wait till we get to preseason week 3. When we get to that last week of preseason, and that's when you're going to see that starting 5. And you really, and unless somebody like last year gets hurt, that's going to be the only thing that's going to change it.
Right.
And that's just what's going to have to be. Y'all going to have to accept it at this point because we complain about it too much. Now we got somebody that want to build the O-line. Y'all complain about that. So that's up to y'all to accept what y'all gonna see. And I really think this is fun. Like this is gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. And I wanna also go back to a reference point right quick as far as the DVD offense. As we talk about Dunn, Vick, and Duckett. I'm finna tell y'all something right now. The one key guy out of that DVD offense that nobody talks about is Justin Griffin. Nobody talks about him. They ran a lot of I formation. Your fullback got a block. Keith Smith is doing his damn thing right now as a fullback right now.
Yeah.
We're not showing him no love at all. Now, we know the running game was absolutely pedestrian last year. But I can count plenty of games where I saw Keith Smith knocking blocks off, but the running backs were too hesitant to hit the hole. So, basically, what TJ is telling y'all and what we are telling y'all is we got to get out of this mindset of basing our opinions based on what we just saw. The NFL season changes year to year. You're not going to have the same level of success every fucking year.
Trust me, Cincinnati could take a huge step back. We keep talking about, like, a lot of times it comes down to chemistry. They went to the championship because they had a lot of chemistry and they got hot. That team is a flawed team. It's incredibly flawed. And we could literally see them turn around and be 8-9 or 7-10. That's quite possible. Why? Everybody's so focused on offense, but they realize like they got a problem with trying to sign Bates there. They got a huge problem. That's a huge.
Right.
So, like I said before, at the end of the day, we're gonna kind of wind it down. But one of the small, intricate details of football is what K-Style is really talking about. Is we're talking about those physical guys upon the offensive line, defensive line that nobody really focuses on. We're basing success on excitement. A lot of people just basing success on excitement and numbers. Sometimes the game aren't won in the trenches. Well, I can make a perfect reference. Go back to last year in the Tampa game. If it came down to two plays that really, lost us that game. The inability to block. That's really what happens. Got two turnovers in last couple minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Turnover. Yeah. And it came down to one aspect of the game. We was in that game. We had all the momentum. But what lost us that game is the inability to block and the inability to stop them on third down. These are what we always say, the small, intricate details. That's it.
And what did you always say? 4 to 5 plays.
Yep.
That determines a game. So we're gonna go ahead and wind it down tonight. So we definitely appreciate wait a minute. Let me do this right. Hold on.
You gotta play the music. You gotta play the music.
I gotta do the right music though. I gotta do the right. Hip hop ending here on the ones and twos with your boy 6-Man K-Styles. As we definitely appreciate y'all tuning in to this Cooler Talk Monday. Make sure you go ahead and share this with your friends and your family and everybody that's still going to have this conversation about Matt Ryan and Michael Vick. Show them this stream to get a perspective on what we think about it. As we got the birthday boy down here with us.
Yes, sir.
Call on Tyrone in 3 hours.
Sir. Actually, we almost at 2. Actually, we done killed an hour with this stuff.
Oh yeah, man. So like I said, we definitely appreciate y'all, as well as I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my show for tomorrow, which is the 6-Man Combo. And let me tell you something. What we talking about tomorrow? We're gonna talk about the blessing and the curse of Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that tomorrow. If you don't know what I mean by that, I'm going to just say it like this. Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley were 2 great things and 2 bad things that happened for the Atlanta Falcons. So make sure you go ahead and tune into that. Make sure you keep on subscribing to Mad Mike Sports, as well as Fila Sports Podcast. If you don't know what Fila means, forever, I love Atlanta. So,
shout out my boy Vlad, man. Shout out my boy Vlad. Hey, y'all. Me and Vlad are coming back. I know y'all. We did a couple shows for y'all. We coming back. Y'all get ready. Wednesday night's gonna get a lot more interesting. Let's put it like that.
Okay. So, yeah, shouts out to Vlad. Shouts out to Don. Shouts out to Jew, J-Rock, Miss Maggie, everybody that's in the Unholy Alliance that's watching here. So we definitely appreciate that. So, my final quote for the people tonight. Let it fucking go.
Put it on the shirt.
Stop talking about 2023. 2022 hasn't even started yet. So, until next time, people, we ain't here to play. We here to stay.
Oh yeah.
You ain't gotta go home.
Well, get out your damn feelings.
Get the titty out your mouth.
Let it go.
And if you don't like it,
Get the hell up out of here.
go ahead, Jimmy. Tell them what we say to those that don't like it.
And if you two don't like it, you can just pass the blunt to the nigga on your left.
Ah.
Deuces.